Brother David, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, yeah. much love, and
we
respect,
give thanks.
You know, yeah.
We give thanks.
We give thanks always for life, you know, and we give thanks for peace. We give thanks for the opportunity to constantly teach each one and learn from each other and grow with each other.
Definitely.
You know, so every opportunity to really share, you know, the power of insight, the wisdom of the road, and also help with what is needed for all of us to lift each other. For me, it's always a very welcome opportunity. So I give thanks for you two for the support and the platform, and my brother here to, you know, really give thanks to you. You were playing me out in in Niger. You know, he's been a big supporter too. So I'm so honored that you are here to still give the energy that is required to keep pushing our industry here. So we give thanks for that. Yes.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Brother David.
Yes.
Before we proceed, there is one thing bothering my mind. You know, our brothers who are Muslims are fasting.
Yes.
The Christians are also in Lent season. They are also fasting.
Yes.
And looking at what is happening in the Middle East and all that, I am asking myself, do we even have love in our heart? In time of prayer, in time, you know, fasting is putting yourself down.
Yes.
And having one-on-one conversation with the Maker.
Yes.
Within.
Yes.
You understand me? And looking at what is going on, do we even have love? Do we even have respect for humanity?
Well, for me, what I see going on right now is also, you know, it shows the collective failure of humanity. You know, I think that it's really a representation of something that is fundamentally a flaw within the way we've carried out international relations, racial relations, the way we deal with each other, the way we respect each other's culture, the way we respect each other's religion, the way we respect each other's right to their own self-determination and identity. I think that is a collective failure. And the thing is that, you know, I have had the opportunity of, you know, I've traveled far and wide in that region. You know, I've spent time, you know, from, you know, touring from Israel, Palestine. I played with artists there in that region. I've had a time to even travel on the ground and, you know, observed, you know, the harmony that, you know, was there when you travel in Jerusalem. You see this Church of the Holy Sepulchre. There's the, you know, there's a, you know, the mosque, the Dome of the Rock where the mosque is. Then there's the wall, you know, the wall of Judaism, you know, the Temple Wall, and I have seen the possibilities of, if we strive towards understanding each other and working with each other and loving each other and recognizing the value in each other, the possibilities of how that harmony can be able to happen. Even my song Jerusalem really stated that fact. But when we step back to the reality is that the whole world is in a flux. You know, the whole world, there's no direction because we have also lost, I believe, the direction of God and are following the direction of man. And I think that when you follow the direction of man, which is flawed with every other issue of, you know, whether it's moral corruption, personal corruption, whether it's only identifying with their own people, whether it's identifying with your own tribe, whether it's identifying with your own religion, whether it's identifying with your old kind, which you can see not only where it's playing, even when you come to even our traditions here, you see it right from the tribalism issue. You go, there's like tribal wars. You go, one tribe is using certain words against another tribe. There's lack of respect. So when you see that, that is an issue that happens in every human society all the way to that stage. You see that our ability to not see each other in each other has resulted in a state where we are fighting and we are kind of warring against each other in order for us to protect our identity, which is only seen within the spectacles of only who we are and our tribe. And we have to rise above that. The voices that advocate for peace and harmony need to be given the platform. You go on social media, all you see is, whether it's AI generated or real, it's all about war, it's all about division, it's all about fear. What about the voices that are talking about harmony, the voices that are trying to bring the world together, the voices that are trying to heal the world? These are the voices that we need to really amplify in order to bring that energy that will ultimately protect us from the situation that we are all observing right now, which I believe that in the long run does not serve any of us.
Oh my God.
Easy.
Rocky Dawuni's take on what is happening right now in the Middle East. And trust me, it's sad. To me, it's sad. Yeah. I have seen a whole lot of things. I have brethren over there that send me videos, and I'm like, what is going on? You know what I mean? But anyway,
Easy.
This is Ghana Mountain. We have Rocky Dawuni in the studio. So let's put aside this Middle East agenda and head back to track. Now,
Yes.
Rocky, looking into our music industry right now, if there is a program that they're supposed to call the great to come join, do you think Ghana will come in the minds of those people to step into Ghana and look into Ghana and say, all right, we have this and we have that and we have that, so they can be part of this table?
Do you mean in terms of music?
In terms of music.
Well, you hope that that's the situation, and then you hope that, just the average sense of recognizing what you have and projecting what you have, I mean, you're gifted what you have, right? Ghana is gifted with musicians that have pushed certain boundaries, have opened certain doors, have the ability to also bring a certain level of performance and a certain level of contribution to our musical space in a way that can project the country in a big way. But the thing is that sometimes I feel that the issue of each one protecting their own territory has become something that, when it comes to truthfully seeing what we have, sometimes I don't think is the situation is the situation that happens. And I don't know, it's something that it's hard for me to diagnose and know why, but I know what we need to do, not why. What we need to do is that we need to bring all the artists that have really created diverse styles in music in this country, and that have been able to create certain certain levels of projection of our country musically in certain spaces, and then we bring them all together and say, this is our cultural musical assets. And when it comes to cultural musical assets, it's not about like some internet trending thing. You know what I mean? That is something that comes and goes. But artists that have been able to, our resources, make sure that every time what they represent is current If there's a concert, an event here, you bring across generation, all of them, across dimension, all of them together. And it's not only suited to something that you feel that is trending around or something that you feel that is current and all of that, but every dimension of it to show the musical richness. It's almost like, in the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. We see what other people are doing and we're like, oh, wow. But when we look deeper, we already have it. So how do we harness that power and make sure that we pay homage to certain yardsticks that have been created for us as a country and utilize that as our forward-facing offering to the rest of the world? We have to see that and not see that in terms of sectarianism, musical sectarianism. That's what I call it, where you have camps and people and different dimensions and different philosophy and different interests that don't really see the primary objective of us as a people. What is our strategy to the world? You can't go and say you are doing a live concert for the world when you know that it doesn't matter whether an artist is popular. There are miming artists who are popular. You know what I mean? So if you're talking live concert and you go and it's just the mimers that are out there, whilst there is a lot of amazing live performing artists here, and you look at that rather than engaging the ones that's their turf, then you sell yourself short. So this is about talking about ultimately our national development, our cultural development. So we have to ask the hard questions. And it's not a matter of, I think it's time for us to stop, not being bold about what needs to be done. Because when you are complicit to a certain decay, when it all rots, you're going to be part of it. We need to look forward and see what are I have said that I don't want to answer anything about the Grammys anymore because every time I get nominated, they always ask me the same question. How did you do it? How? You ask, how did you do it? It's not a matter of how do you do it. You just do what you do and stuff happens. It doesn't mean that when it happened, then that means that there's some key ingredient and then everybody thinks it's, there's some backdoor dealing or something and that kind of stuff. And then, but everybody has found out that there's nothing backdoor dealing about doing that,
Of course.
And you just got to go out there and do what you do. But the value of understanding that when independent artists fight for years and years and that happens, that does not mean that because you were not partaking in their success, that means you can question the mechanism of their success. You see, you can't look at gift horse in the mouth. It's a gift to Ghana. It's not a gift to me.
Of course.
It's a gift to Ghana. So we all have to see that and keep pushing the excellence that we have in this country as a matter of a broad-based national cultural agenda.
All right. So, Rocky, looking into our music industry now, where you are and what you have attained for yourself and also the country Ghana,
yes,
in that bigger spectrum. Rocky, do you think that where we are today, if we are to do away with all these camps and all that, would have been far gone?
I would say that because the camps, I don't think it was like a conscious effort to it became like a kind of trend at a certain time, like a certain generation, but the thing is that, music became like a contact sport. It became competitive. It was like a competition sport. So even when you see the Jamaican dancehall culture, it started with in the battles. You go in a club, they will run a rhythm, and then everybody will come and chant on the rhythm, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, oh, this person won on the rhythm. So it was a means to, but it wasn't, there was no thought that sometimes it's a fun thing, but when you institutionalize it, it could actually be something that will hamper the collective agenda. Because there are certain artists who are good at battles, but in terms of when it comes to songwriting, there are certain artists who will actually shine there. They're not somebody who works on the mic, but there's somebody who sits down and creates incredible amazing melodies. But when you put them on the spot in terms of battle, they are not that type of artist. So that means that you are only pushing that dimension of artistry. You know, so you have to be able to, I feel that what happened was that these things became a fun thing at some point, you know, camps, you know, you push the camps and that kind of stuff, and also organizing of fan base. I think that it was also all organizing of fan base. But when that becomes something that you pit against each other, and then it's weaponized as a means that when the other side is doing something, that means you all have to work at its destruction and to make sure that it doesn't succeed, then you've turned the sword against, you've turned something that could have been positive into something that is destructive, you know. So I think that it has outlived its relevance in terms of being a means of turning against each other. We could turn on its positive aspect as a means of, okay, if there's this camp here, they support the other camp when everything comes. We use camps as a means to support Ghanaian music in general. Everybody comes together when things are released and they're Ghanaian. Certified Ghanaian, you push it. Certified African, you push it, you know, and all of that kind of. So it's all a matter of transforming something that started as a gift that became an impediment back into being a gift and as a means to actually project you forward.
Okay, all right. 25 got into the hour one here on Asaase Radio, the voice of our land. We're live on 99.5 in Accra, 98.5 in Kumasi, you know, in the meantime. And the fact of the matter is 100.3 has been restored in Cape Coast. You understand me? So we're ready and goody to move with that very soon. Brother David, talk to me about this. Looking into our space right now, our royalty system, have you ever received any royalty from?
That's a direct question because many people have been asking, you know the answer already. So I don't want to be a headline, another headline of that same situation. We all know what's, you know, there. Yeah. And I think that the thing is, sometimes when it's a systemic issue, and you direct it to an individual, like individuals that are appointed can be able to fix something that has been not only a problem here, problem in many countries. You know, I think that is something that we have to look at an overall systemic overhaul in order for it to happen. Because if you don't have a way to identify songs that are played, the time that they're played, and then also to look at even into, like, you know, clubs, the songs that are played in clubs and all of that, quantify all of that, and then be able to identify that, okay, these are the artists that have been played, these are the times that they were played, this is how many times they were played, and then utilize that data as a means to also engage the people who are playing that to also pay a certain, shall I say, rights to use those artists' intellectual property too, for whatever the purpose of which they use. And then there's a collection that everybody sees it. There's a transparent system that you can be able to go yourself and navigate and find out what is due you, where is due you, how you due you are. You know, we'll keep talking. If we don't have a system to really give us this type of information, we'll just keep talking and talking.
All right.
You know, many places where they do that, they have those systems to be able to have that database and all of that to rightfully pay artists and all of that. So what I'm saying is that we need a serious system overhaul.
All right.
You know, and the copyright agencies and what's it called, institutions are already there. You know, but how have we been able to transform them into being effective to do what they're doing, and also educate the general public about the value of music? Because if you don't see the value of music, how will the artists be compensated? You know, if the music is being played in everywhere and there's nobody paying into anything, where is the source of getting the revenue that is required to also pay the artists? I mean, right now, you know, the whole world is mostly streaming, and most of the streaming, many people buy streams. Even record labels buy streams. They will buy billions of streams. So when their artists come, they will just the bots or stream farms that are in different places will push that so that it trends. But in the long run, even streaming does not really make that much money. How much stream that you need? So the music industry in the entire world itself has been in a state of flux right now, trying to find what models are important. Right now, you have all the AI stuff that are going on. You know, you have, you know, AI music making, generating systems that are just generating by stealing existing artists' voice, image, style, and everything, and then now utilizing that as a means to have everybody that can use prompts to generate music. And this is the kind of thing the whole industry is dealing with right now. So what I'm saying is that there's a lot of issues for us to even come. I you know, I don't subscribe to headlines.
Yeah. No.
You see, and sensationalism, which has been when you know that the problem is a sophisticated problem that requires sophisticated approach to find simple solutions, then we utilize sensationalism as a means to point hands at people who probably don't even understand what the nature of technology is going on right now when it comes to music, to rightfully collect copyrights that belong to us.
I understand you, Rocky.
Yes.
And I asked this question simply because, Rocky, you're a legend. You understand me? You have done so much, you know, and so well for our music industry. You've taken us beyond borders. You understand me? You know, you've taken us places. You know, how many of our artists over here, you know, has even played in Israel? How many of them? You understand me? But what I am saying is that you have been there, done that. You are on other platforms in terms of royalties, and you see how it is done and all that. Being a legend in this particular space, and with that technical know-how from, you know, the uptown that you were, and making sure that everything was on point and all that, what can we do as Ghanaians in terms of our music space to be able to put in those mechanisms for royalties, you know, to start come your way? You understand me? I was going to ask about that, and I asked, do you receive royalties over here? You understand me? I know a lot of artists that say, I'm say last week, you know, me 30 Ghana cedis. You understand me? And I've been doing music for so long, and they called me to give me just 30 Ghana cedis and all that. You know, I am not looking for that, but I am looking for what mechanisms should we put in place as a legend. You have seen it, you've witnessed it, you've seen all. So what should be done in your country so that at least when Rocky Dawuni is to move out, maybe let's say a year or two, and you return back home, you know, and you check your account, you know that, oh, okay, the system I set or the system I told these people to set, it is working.
Well, you know, the thing is that it's not something that we have to reinvent the wheel. You know, there are many countries that have had, you know, success in setting these things up, these institutions up, and also whatever the modern systems that are there to set them up for them to work for artists in terms of their due, whatever is due them. You know, I mean, the thing is that when you make a song, first of all, the song is copyrighted, right? So you have the song copyrighted. And then there's also, in many countries, there's performance, shall I say, performance institutions where you register. So let's say in the United States, I will use the US for an example. So when your work is done, first of all, the Library of Congress, you register the work. The work is copyrighted as a creative asset of yours. So in Ghana too, when you do that, we have a copyright here. So the works must be copyrighted. That's the first phase. And then you register with the institutions, which are usually collection institutions. Collection institutions, let's say in the US, you have BMI. BMI works for songwriters and also publishers. So the songwriters are, the songwriters register with this organization. This organization goes out everywhere where the song is played. If it's played on terrestrial radio, they have the metrics. And then through the metrics, they will know that every song you have 50% songwriters, 50% publishing. Most songwriters own their publishing. But in America, you also have publishing companies. So the publishing companies, probably the artist is signed to a publishing company. So out of the collection is split into two between the publishing companies. What publishing companies usually do for the artists is that they help push out the music into so many different places and magnify the music beyond what the songwriter's capabilities are. So that's why you have companies like that who also come into that cut of business to push the music outside of those territories. So let's say, so beyond that, I don't want to get too deep into this. So you have those collection agencies, and then you have, organizations like in the US where they collect the digital rights. That means when the song is played on, let's just say, digital radio, online use, and all of that, you have a separate organization that also collects everything that happens in the online world. So in the US, you have BMI, like, let's say, doing with songwriters collection, and then also publishing collection, and then you have Sound Exchange that does with everything digital. Most stuff is digital right now. So Sound Exchange, actually, when your song is played on satellite radio like Sirius FM, Sirius FM, actually satellite radios are some of the highest paying when it comes. A lot of time online, when it comes to streams and all of that, the money is very, very, very little. But if you get your music played on satellite radio, the margin is huge. So most artists, even labels, will want to push a lot of their songs to be played not on streaming, but on satellite radio, Sirius FM. Sirius FM, you're talking real money, not what you get from streaming. And then terrestrial radio too. When it's played on terrestrial radio, every time it's played on terrestrial radio. And when I talk about terrestrial radio, I mean college radio, all around the world. I mean, in terms of pop radio, money is collected there. So I'm talking of all the areas that money is made. Streaming is not the place. Streaming is good for ego. It's good for the numbers and all that. And streaming, you can buy it. Terrestrial radio, you cannot go there and change the metrics of terrestrial radio. But now we are obsessed with streaming. You see, we look at streaming as the music, is it good? Okay, the first day, it's streamed, this whole thing. But it only goes to serve the technology companies who are actually pushing the music. It's the platforms that are making, because all of these numbers too are something that is leverage for more investment into the platform rather than you, the artist. So we have to look at all of this to see that when we are embracing a system, it's not necessarily a system that does not really work for us. The thing is, we have to streamline the terrestrial radio system. We have to have a digital collection system too that is here. So we separate the ones that collect for songwriting and then also the publishing from the ones too that are focused on the digital collection systems, like stuff that is played online, the streaming. If it's streaming within Ghana's border, we should have the ability to use even blockchain technology to create a kind of cultural firewall within our country that can be able to identify stuff that is streamed within our borders. But now we are outsourcing all of that to the Apples and all of that, and then they are running what is in our country that actually, when you look at it, we should have created platforms to control that. But because we never did that, we think that integrating those systems here is actually what is good for us. But in the long run, it's an ecosystem that we don't own or we don't control. Then, thirdly, is in Europe and many places, when you play live or your music is played in certain places, let's say in the funeral areas, when we're having funerals, you hear a lot of classic high life music being played. You know, you go to bars, you hear a lot of classic high life. I'm not saying that many of the bars make so much money that you can be able to eke out the tax of money. But if we have like a flat system, which I think that we have, but how do we enforce that? And how do we also convince the people who have all of these spaces that their contributing will go directly into supporting the musicians who have played and laid their lives and also created all of these cultural assets to elevate our country culturally, for them to also have something back from their investment. So we have to look at all of this in a sophisticated way, but there needs to be protection. And I believe that right now music has become digital, but we don't have control of the digital ecosystem. Music, anytime we talk about playlisting, we are quoting playlisting from international, music systems, whether it's Spotify, whether it's a Chinese-based company that's coming here or any other company that's coming from outside to do that. We've lost control of our digital environment. I think that if we're able to rein in that control and control it properly, we need to engage our technology people that how do we create a system, an ecosystem, a blockchain-based ecosystem that protects what is Ghanaian. And if it's played, any other outside entity drops into it and then utilizes that resource, there's a certain amount that is paid so that we can be able to harness our ability to collect everything that is out there for us to collect in order for us to be able to address the issues of musicians not being paid rightfully here.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's 40 minutes going into the hour one here on Asaase Radio, the voice of our land. The time is running and we've not gotten anywhere. Yeah. Rocky had to go, but I have some few songs that I want to play, and then he will give us his reaction on them, and then what exactly inspired him to write those songs. And the first one I did play was Sugar. Now, Rocky, this particular song, I feel there is an element in this song which is making this song kind of great. Almost all, anytime I play it, I get different feelings and all that.
Well, it was my first big song in Ghana.
Yes.
It was my first radio song when I released the album The Movement.
Yeah.
And you could hear the raw kind of passion. You know the things that artists you evolve. And a lot of times when I hear, I'm just like, can I even sing in that passion and ready? But the things that you evolve into a new, and the more sophisticated you come sometimes to the raw edginess, because now you are more sophisticated, you know what I mean, in terms of your ability to develop. Your voice is very well trained. But when I hear a song like Sugar was about what reggae music has actually done, not in terms of only the political side, but in terms of the happiness. The music doesn't only serve our ability to see social situations, but the feel when you are at a reggae concert or you listen to a great reggae song, and the emotional energy, the spiritual energy, the raw vibe of the delivery, and how it contributes to our collective happiness. And so the song Sugar was really in terms of celebrating that. But Sugar was a song that I wrote. It was one of my earliest songs that I'd written. It actually was part of a different album that I wrote before when I was recording The Movement. Because The Movement, there was an album that I wrote that was actually only wrote but was never recorded. And then The Movement was one, two that I recorded, but the movement was not the first album that I had actually written. But I recorded the movement because at that time I had left Legon, I traveled to the US and all of that kind of stuff, and I came and I was like, okay, my first album need to come out. And I came and I worked with all the local crisis folks. So these were songs that I was writing post-local crisis. But Sugar was actually a song that was from that previous album that I pulled from that previous album because I hadn't recorded and then added it to the because that record had some really very raw
because there is
songs,
something so special about Sugar that you have to pull it from the other written album
yes
the movement album.
Yes.
So
and that was the movement album was literally the point that internationalized Ghanaian music and Ghanaian reggae music globally.
Of course.
That was like the first, I wouldn't say the first because I also grew up on the work that people like Roots Anabo had done. Roots Anabo was one of the first Ghanaian bands to play at Sunsplash and other Saminupe say these were my mentors. And then you had people like Felix Bell who regionally contributed to the, you had bands like Vitamin X, all of that, Kodrenchi, and all of that, who were doing a lot of great work. But in terms of cutting really into popular mainstream, the international stages beyond, from whether it's WOMAD, whether it's Hollywood Bowl, whether it's all of those places that have been privy to play, whether it's playing to 20,000 people at Hollywood Bowl with Stevie Wonder or any kind of stuff, things that have happened through Ghanaian music and the path that we've gone. Sugar was one of the first, Movement was one of the first records, because what happens also was that What Goes Around was licensed for Atlantic Records, which is a major record, one of their reggae, The Next Generation. That was what the album was called. And this was, What Goes Around was one of the songs that was licensed for that. And that started my journey too, as an artist, in terms of bringing, Ghanaian music over the years to international audiences all around the world.
Wow. My guest in the studio is Rocky Dawuni. In no time, Rocky Dawuni will take a leave of us simply because he's got some meeting to attend. I wanted to play this music and all that, but because of the time, let's proceed into the talk. Rather, one big song, and it was an award-winning song, that really kind of brightened every corner, was in Ghana. In Ghana it's still a big song. And last night I played at Akuma Village. When I dropped in Ghana, the whole place went crazy. You understand me? It tells you the power of music.
Yes.
I am still wondering the kind of concept you used to pen down this in Ghana. In Ghana, you are mentioning the name of Ghana. You are selling Ghana out there.
Yes.
So those who
and it's been done for years. That song has done so much for this in terms of pushing this country's name around the world.
Of course.
Of course. So to go back to the in Ghana, the thing is, if you're born on this soil, on this land, you understand the weight of history that is on upon your shoulders. So whether in every discipline that you're involved in, you understand that whatever you're contributing to your nation and the world, you're also contributing it to the future of the continent of Africa. This is very well enshrined in Kwame Nkrumah's speech of independence. The independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it leads to the total liberation of Africa. So Ghana is the spot of the new Jerusalem for African consciousness. This is where we build our ark to repopulate the African Renaissance. So this song was about that. It was a song not only about the nature of Ghana in terms of the mindset of the continent of Africa, Ghana's role, spiritual role, positional role, even when you look at it, the latitude and the longitude, 0 degrees, as we say, like the center of Africa or the center of the world. Ghana is positioned even in that space. Ghana was the first to, break ourselves from the yoke of colonization, and at the same time, too, Ghana has also been the architect of modern African democratic experimentation that has been going on around the continent. Ghana has always jumped into the forefront, even coup making. We were leaders in that.
Yeah.
We did. Some of the most inspired the rest of the continent on all of that.
Definitely.
So Ghana's role has been always like the mandate of leadership. And by the mandate of leadership, that does not really diminish our other African countries. And because when we look at it, the borders were an invention after 1884. A bunch of European countries sat down without consulting with us and then cut our countries into different pieces. But we are wholesomely one people with one energy. So every dimension of our continent, wherever it points, it has a certain energy that contributes to the whole. So Ghana's energy was about being the Mount Zion. That's why there is that part in the song in Ghana, right on top of Mount Zion. With gladness I wipe my tears. Lord, raise my flag, red, gold, and green, so that I can sing a song for Africa with honesty.
Wow.
So it's all about being able to channel the truth of us as Africans, but Ghana being the foundation stone and the cornerstone upon which that story tells. That song for me defines the journey of our people. It defines the independence of our people. It defines how the independence connects to the total liberation of our people. It defines the connection between our people and the diaspora. That's what the song is about. So it's a song that it's not necessarily a song. It's a testament to. It's an emotional document and a cultural and spiritual melodic attestation of who we are, where we need to be, and where we should go.
Wow. 51. We have 9 more minutes. Exactly 2 o'clock. Rocky will take a leave of us. You understand? Because he had to attend some meeting, and the way we
by
planned,
now the people for the meeting know say I go be late.
I know.
The way they talk for the air, no.
the way I planned this and all that kind of thing, the whole meeting thing kind of.
Don't worry. Let's go. Let's keep going. Yeah.
How many love songs have you, Rocky?
Hey, have you heard "Extraordinary Woman"?
Yes, I've heard that.
Okay, so "Extraordinary Woman" is one, and then "My Love,"
yeah,
which is also a love song. The One,
yeah,
which is also a love song. I have a lot of love songs, But the thing is that love is important for life. With the heart that cannot hold love, cannot give love.
Of course.
And I think that love is not necessarily only the carnal love. Love is about the love for each other. What they call agape love.
Yeah.
Love for, and then for me to even love for nature, love for our environment, love, and if we're able to harness that power, so sometimes when I sing even about love, it transcends from just being between a man and a woman into a much more bigger idea of love, a bigger concept of what love is. So I have a lot of Love songs, but I know the kind of love songs where they talk. That one, I know,
You don't have some.
the Lagazee type of. Yes.
Let me take few messages on our Facebook. Kojo Efiye says, King Lagazee, greetings to my big brother Rocky. Tell him we are one. We will one day meet in total 2 inside Kufuridia.
Okay. Town people. Okay.
Kojo Efiye is also a Kuftown brethren. You understand
beautiful,
me?
beautiful.
And then Kojo Rasta says, greetings, man and woman. We're listening to Asaase Radio with King Lagazee. Big up Rocky Dawuni every time. Conscious Ahosak Babino says, greetings, King Lagazee. Queen Soul Vibes essay says, blessings from South Africa. Queen Soul Vibe, big up yourself, man. And the Dusty says, greetings, my brother. Kweku Mensa, aka Moki, the granddaddy of the dance. He sent a very long message, but I will try and take it. He said, the first time I saw Rocky Dawuni from afar was in the mid-90s when he used to come and visit my godfather, Burning Rocks, now Danladi Akuto. Okay, fast forward in the early 2000s, I saw myself sitting together with Amano, with the legend sharing lamb's bread behind the curtains of Pigeon Music Studio inside TV3 building. He gave some of us the opportunity to play on his independent show back in the days.
Yes.
I say I'm most grateful for his impact on my way up. Respect due to legend and the family, especially to big, Bobby. Now, I am typing. As I'm typing,
give thanks.
I can feel his usual smile shouting back, Monkey!
Monkey! Charlie! my brother that,
Yeah, man.
Some good times.
So, Junior Maestro from Norway Far Away said, are there African countries we can draw lessons from? He was talking, as we were talking about the royalty kind of, stuffs, and then you were explaining, you were using the US as an example and all that. And he's asking, are there other African countries that we can, draw inspiration or lessons from?
There are African countries, but I would say that, when we look at that too, we have to look at the diaspora more, because there are certain countries too that have been able to create these kind of systems in a way to that work. One of the countries that I think also has a very good system is Barbados.
Okay.
I think the Barbados, when it comes to setting up their copyright system and all of that, is one of the countries that have done a lot of work in that. And I believe that we can learn from, the Embassy of Barbados is here. I mean, I've had the opportunity, playing, in Barbados. I recently, was invited by the Honorable Prime Minister to play a concert over there. And I feel that there is a kind of kinship. And these are some of the areas that we can learn from. It's not a matter of reinventing, there is a matter of going to people who implement, and then we learn from that, and then we implement that so that we can grow. Knowledge is not, because knowledge is something that, it follows osmosis. It has to go from, a place that is needed from a place that already have it. So
you're right.
Yes, man.
You're right. Okay, so Junior Zamani says, you have built an international career from Ghana to the global stage. What moment made you realize your music was reaching the world?
Okay. The moment that I felt it was reaching the world was when I went on tour with it was an African tour, an African package tour. Like a lot of people don't know like how some of these happened, but this was organized, a tour where they brought myself, Ishmael Isaacs from Cote d'Ivoire, and then also Positive Black Soul from Senegal. So it was an African tour that was organized, and we played all the major American festivals. So the concert, one of the concerts was at the WOMAD Festival in Seattle. And I remember when I got on stage, and when it came to in Ghana, like a sea of, white people, people from all backgrounds and all of that, singing in Ghana.
Wow.
And I realized that this song had crossed not only from Ghana, but it crossed to so many places and countries. And here is a collective of people from different backgrounds. A song that was about my country has now become a song that they were all singing about it as if, and you look in their faces, they were singing about it as if they are Ghanaians who were singing this song. This song had a meaning for them. And that's when I recognized that the music has transcended Ghana, but on Ghana's terms. You know, a song that has been about an ode and a homage to my hometown and my people has also become an ode and homage to people all around the globe. And that's when I recognized that. And then the second time too was when I was touring the Middle East. I was walking in the streets of Jerusalem, and we walked by a place, and in Ghana was blaring from this place. And so the people who were walking with me, who were handling my tour at that time, who had come with me, they said, "Oh, you gotta come here, and we gotta talk to this person because they will be so surprised." That. So we walked in, and we were listening, and they started telling the bar owner that I was rocking Dawuni.
Wow.
And all of that.
Wow.
And he could not believe that, but we were just walking randomly, like in the streets, and we heard the song coming. And so I recognized how far this song has embedded itself in the conscience of people all around the world.
Wow.
And so, you know, it showed me that, you know, when it's real music and true music, it embeds itself in the DNA of other cultures.
You're right.
Yes, sir.
And then Junior Zamani again said, what's your favorite Ghanaian food before performance?
Hey, Charlie, the thing is that my favorite Ghanaian food, I can't get it when you're on the road. You know, when you're on the road, it's like it's sacrifice. On the road is the hardest. You know, most people, when they see you traveling and touring, they think it's like a glamour thing. It's not a glamour thing. You have lack of sleep. A lot of places where you go, you know, you don't hardly get to eat and stuff, and then you have to get on stage. And maybe you finish stage, you have to get onto your tour bus or your tour van and get to the next place because tours are put together tight. So you don't get the food that you love on the road. You see musicians a lot of times, you know, they have, you know, I wouldn't say that some Ghana musicians, you see they mix shito and then gari and stuff and he's in his bag because he knows somewhere you go, the tour you finish, the salad plenty too much. You can't only live on the salad and the cheese. You go see, say he did some place they making gari and shito and those kind of things. Or you get to a town and then there will be maybe somebody from your hometown. I remember when we were actually doing this tour with Positive Black Soul, we got to eat a lot of Senegalese food because every city that we'll go, there will be like, you know, somebody from Senegal making food in their houses. So this tour guide too knew, so he will contact them and make sure that they made the African food for us. So sometimes that's how you do. Every city that you go, you find the people to make. But I'll say that it's hard to find real fufu when you leave Ghana. That's just the bottom line. And I won't lie about the fufu where they come for that and those kind of things. It's not be the real thing. So, you know.
Oh, God.
Easy.
And then Kwaku Mensah says, my special request is the trumpet sound will gather us in this year crusade. Oh, my God. Crusade is one of my favorite as well. Matter of fact, you know, as I said, Rocky had to take a leave of us, and we give thanks, you know, for Rocky coming today on the show. It's Ghana month. Rocky, what message do you have for Ghanaians?
Well, the message I have for Ghanaians and Africans, you know, I think that Africa is the foundation stone, that Ghana is a cornerstone, not the cornerstone, a cornerstone of the continent. And if we look around the world right now, what is going on around the world, it constantly puts in my mind that we are in danger of having to fight another liberation war or a liberation confrontation, considering the mindset of the world and certain elements that were instrumental in colonization, who have also started looking at that possibility of Africa's resources, both material and human, because once you change the mindset, the human resource is being attacked through digital means, through social media and algorithms that are being programmed and weaponized in other places to turn Africans into subservient people, not in terms of our body, but our mindset. Once your mind is gone and you attribute superiority to somebody other than yourself, then you are defeated. That's the first thing. Secondly is all of the new scramble for Africa. It's a new scramble for Africa in terms of our resources, because the future of the world is running on resources that we have. And the thing is that if we want to fight, or we want to lead the world in terms of technology and all of that, we have to have control over those assets. Because many people have seen that the future is going to run on something that we have today. And we don't have to, once again, just as we have done, lost control of our resources after independence. And up till now, when we talk about independence, we can only talk about it as a celebration, wearing bright colored things. But when it comes to real independence of, let's say, financially, economically being in control of our own destiny, I can say that that's not the truth right now. If we are still going to, our economies have to depend on other institutions when we have every God-given gift to become a superpower in the world right now. But we are left to be fighting among ourselves from all of the, I'll say, whether you belong to one music part to the other part, or you belong to one political part to the other part, or whether you belong to, and even now we're even fighting wars. Oh, you are democratic, you are this, you are that kind of stuff, but we are all Africans. So we are using every type of, shall I say, construct that ultimately divide us as a people, and we will become the implementers of that. There is nothing greater than a people united. You see? So if African unity does not become an important thing of now, then we have lost the battle. Africa can only stand on its own if we unite. Africa can only be a master of its own destiny if we unite. Because if we are individual countries and we are competing, I mean, look at even the cocoa conversation. It's because we are not united. Ivory Coast has its own agenda.
Yeah.
Ghana has its own agenda. But meanwhile, it's the same land that goes there. If it was not 1884, where one part was declared Ivory Coast and this thing, when I go and I speak even Chi, you know, people who speak Baule, I speak Chi, they reply me and start speaking. It's the same people.
Yeah.
But now we see ourselves in colonial construct. You are French, you are British, you are this, you are that, you know, and we are still in that phase of mentality after how many years of independence. You know the importance of Ghana's independence. I don't think anybody has has really analyzed what the 69th independence mean. The number 69.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 69 is a start, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's 9 inverted.
Yeah.
So 9 inverted is 6.
Yeah.
6 inverted is 9.
Yeah.
So it's the beginning, the new beginning.
Yeah.
And then we go into 7. Mm-hmm. 7, you go 7 seals in the Bible, you know. even Revelation, 7 angels. Right now, when the vision, John had a vision of the Almighty, 7.
Yes.
It's a big word. So that's 70 years. That's next we're going. But the importance is this year. How is Ghana going to be the catalyst for African unity? There's a lot of conversations, and we'll talk about the Borderless Africa thing. I've been involved in Borderless Africa initiative. Another dimension of it that happened in African Union, where I was there with a lot of influencers around the world. I know our brother Gabi too is pushing with African Prosperity Edison. But the thing is that none of this stuff is like a brand. It's not about it's not a brand. It's a people's aspiration. So when it comes to borderless advocate, everybody should be advocating for that. Everybody around the continent should be advocating for that. It's our future. If we can't sit down and say, I have the right to cross and go meet my brothers in Nigeria and not have to navigate the colonial system that was done. I mean, what kind of person am I? I can't think outside my own box after something that was instituted in 1884 up till now. I can't just go to Parliament. Parliament in Ghana can just do it. African Union can just do it like that by the wave of a wand. This is about thing. We can do it by a wave of a wand. We can unite the continent if all the leaders of the continent right now today decide that that's the right thing for us to do. They all know that's the right thing to do.
So what is holding them back?
That is the question, because everybody's getting united. Look at Europe, they're coming together.
Yeah.
You go, the Chinese are together. If even there's, the China, when they saw that people were coming, they just built a wall around them and excluded everybody and worked internally.
Yeah.
And when they were ready to engage everybody, then they came out. But they are united. When our brothers in the diaspora have an issue, they don't know which part of Africa to even look and say, because there's Ghana, okay, we want to come to Ghana. There's Nigeria, we want to go to Nigeria. There's Ethiopia, we want to go to Ethiopia. It's a continent of one people that has been fragmented into different people. And we have perpetuated that same identity that was imposed upon us. And then we still stand around for years of these conferences and meetings and convening of leaders and all of that, when we know the elephant in the room is that the day Africa unites,
the Western power will go down.
It's not about Western power. We are not uniting against anybody.
Yeah.
You see, once we say we are uniting against anybody, then that means that you're putting your adversaries on cue to come and destroy your pathway. The unity of Africa is actually going to be beneficial to the world. The unity of Africa is going to provide a big, huge, incredible economic zone where we can be able to do partnerships with a lot of people who also believe in our prosperity to come and work with us. The unity of Africa will also ensure that right now I don't see my Yoruba brother or my Igbo brother and I think of them as Nigerians, but I'll think of them as Africans. You see, when I think of them as Nigeria, it's very limited. After I've crossed Nigeria, I go Cameroon, then it's a whole nother scenario there. Then I cross Cameroon, Kenya is a whole nother scenario. Ethiopia is a whole other scenario. And then also, finally, is that, when we look at the assets of Africa, the assets of Africa are not only in terms of the power of what unity will do for us, but it's also the power of recognizing the spiritual gifts that we've been given. When I know that most people in Africa are either Muslim or Christian, and then we have our traditional religion before all of this came. But if even we are embracing the Judeo-Christian concept and a Christian identity, we have to see that on this continent also rests some of the oldest lineage of Christianity that has ever existed in the world is in Ethiopia. And also, there is no country or any people that can look into the Bible and trace the lineage, the existing lineage of King David, of Solomon, and look everywhere and find a place where the lineage in modern sense can still be traced. in written text the throne of Ethiopia, the throne of Haile Selassie, right from the throne of David. And then everybody knows that the Davidic line is the messianic line.
Mm-hmm.
So how can a people who have been blessed with all of these gifts, who have been endowed with all of this power, who have been endowed with all of this diversity, the oldest human form, even when scientists were trying to dispute the fact that Africans were the first people, when they dig ground, the oldest person, they found it in Ethiopia and Kenya. So it's like even the archaeological books and archaeological, what's called, hold the truth as to our power, who we are as a people, and who we, through our mindset and divisions, have robbed ourselves of the power of our unity. Kwame Nkrumah said it because Kwame Nkrumah went and stayed in America and saw the situation of black Americans, and he knew that the only way that we can bring our brothers here is if we unite the continent, so that they are not coming to a country, they're coming to a place of identity. So it doesn't matter where they go. It's not like, oh, I'm Jamaican, so I came from, I look at my DNA and I'm from Cameroon. No, you're not from Cameroon. How do you come from? How can DNA tell you're from Cameroon? Cameroon didn't exist at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Cameroon was created by a colonial construct.
Mm-hmm.
You come from the land of Africa. It doesn't matter east, west, north, south, middle, center, up, down.
Yeah.
It's still the same continent.
You're right.
You know, the River Nile is right here.
Mm-hmm.
Where Moses' basket rolled.
Mm-hmm.
It's right there in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm trying to say is that we have to wake up. You know, and we have to see that many people who see our strengths and our power, they might come as friends, but they are not our friends. They might come as a means to trick some of our brothers who, I think that, you know, we have a lot of congregation of Judases.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's Judas mentality today plenty everywhere you go. And you can find Judas in many incarnations.
You're right.
You know, whether it's the highest level of selling our brothers out, the lower level of economically ripping and taking advantage of resources for only a certain clique and robbing us of the possibility of our potential. So the new Africa, the new Renaissance is something that has to start with the people. The people have to recognize their power and demand that of their leadership.
All right, Rocky. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I think we need to look into another day again, whether the last Saturday
Just
of
give me a call
this month, so that we have listed some quite good songs that I would like you to tell us the stories behind them. This is Ghana Month, and we are celebrating our music. We are celebrating where our music, you know, comes from that time till now. You understand me? Last night, playing at Akuma village and dropping in Ghana, and I had some of the Gen Zs, you know, sitting down, looking at me as if, what exactly is he playing? You know, and then Black Santino had to walk to me and say, yo, Lagazee, you play some Ras tunes and all these things. You know what I mean? It's about time for us to begin to tell the stories in other ways for this Gen Zs to understand what exactly we mean by, you know, certain songs. You understand me?
Yes.
So that at least it will also stick in their minds.
Yes.
And then we know that we are good to go. In this time of camps, come there, come here, and all that, at least if we are able to do this and explain some of these things to some of these Gen Zs, I think gradually we'll be winning them onto the side where they will end up supporting everybody.
Yes.
Rather than limiting themselves into one area.
And that's the only thing. And then music become more of a contact sport.
You understand?
You know, it's like a boxing match.
Yeah.
You know, I think that, and then the thing is that music, which is supposed to unite us, is being used to divide us. You understand?
Yeah.
Right. So if we're talking about African unity, the music has to be representative.
Of course.
The artists in their conduct
Yeah.
have to be representative. The leadership in their conduct, in their utterances, and in their, when the whole public goes to sleep, what they do with the national purse too has to be, be directed by that sense of responsibility and that sense of like standing for the identity and the aspirations of all of us.
All right.
Yes,
So Kwame Conscious sent in this message. He said, Rastafari greetings to you and my brother Rocky Dawuni. We shall overcome.
Yes, I am.
Brother David, thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for having me here.
Yeah, man.
We give thanks
Every time.
God bless Ghana.
Yeah,
Happy
man.
Independence Day. Everybody celebrate, but know that independence is a big word.
Yeah.
Independence is not a brand. It's not something that we just sing around it and all of that kind of stuff. It's about every independence is almost like you're having a self-reflection. Mm-hmm. Are we there yet? Mm-hmm. Yes, that's the question we should ask.
Yeah. Are we there yet?